Hey, this is Nick Kellar coming to you with another helpful video. Today we're going to be talking about hidden costs of owning a home and purchasing one. First thing to realize is that while homeownership is the American dream, it does not come cheap. So we're going to run through real quick just some of the costs that you want to keep top of mind when you're considering purchasing a home and moving forward towards owning it. So the first thing I want you to consider is the down payment, which is, think of it like more of the investment side of purchasing a home, not necessarily an expense. And there's a couple different ways to do that. So it comes with the loan type. The most prevalent loan type out there is FHA, and that's because it's the cheapest way to get in. It requires the least amount of money out of pocket, usually around 3.5% of the purchase price. There's also VA and USDA. The difference with those are 100% financing, and while they sound attractive because it doesn't require anything out of pocket, you do have to have certain membership or income requirements in order to qualify those. And for USDA, the property has to be eligible as well. Outside of that, there's conventional financing, and the gold standard with conventional is 20% down. However, and the reason for that is because you avoid private mortgage insurance, which can cost several $100s a month in your mortgage payment. But with conventional, you don't necessarily have to put out 20%. You can get in for as little as 5%, and there's even a few programs out there that you can get in for less than 3 or for 3%. Outside of that, there's also closing expenses, and this can vary by state and area. But in Maryland, rule of thumb is they're generally 3 to 4% of the purchase price. And this includes lender fees, title fees, transfer taxes, and any other miscellaneous expenses that might go into purchasing the house. The good news with closing costs, unlike the down payment, is if you're successful in your negotiation in purchasing a home, that can be covered by the seller. So there's a good chance you can get some, if not all of that, covered by the seller and offset that completely. Outside of that, there's inspections. So in Maryland, it's common to have a home inspection, which can run $300 to $500, depending on the size of the house, sometimes more. There's septic and well, if applicable, with the house. There's pest inspections, and then there's a few other ancillary inspections that, again, depending on the house, can definitely change the out-of-pocket expense in proceeding with purchasing that home. Also, there's moving expenses, and this can vary depending on how far you're moving. If you use a professional mover and you're moving close by, it's going to cost less. If you're moving from state to state, it's going to cost a lot more. Definitely something you're going to have to consider. Outside of that, I would say that expect the unexpected when owning your house. A good financial strategy is always to have an emergency fund. Personally, I prefer to have at least 3 months of living expenses banked in my bank account. Outside of that, I would say that a good rule of thumb for just purely owning a house is to plan on having 1 to 2% of the purchase price of your house stowed away for just routine maintenance throughout a given year. Keep in mind also that if you purchase an older home, a 15-year-old house has 15-year-old structural mechanical items and systems, so that those things are going to have some wear and tear on it and may need some repair down the road. So you want to kind of have that built into your budget. So one way to offset that is good routine maintenance throughout the year, and that's just going to be discipline and knowing how to take care of items and make sure that they're serviced properly so that you can prolong the life expectancy and kind of mitigate any unexpected costs. Also, and this has come up recently, is potentially looking into purchasing a home warranty. Now, while that might be more out-of-pocket expense up front, they're generally around $500 typically and they can vary on the size of the house. They could also offset and mitigate any unexpected expenses. So, for example, recently I had some folks that just purchased a home literally within the last few months, and their heating system went up. They had the sellers purchased a home warranty on their behalf, and what was going to be a $3,500 expense ended up only being a few $100s. So again, that's just a way you can be a little more preemptive in offsetting any unexpected costs down the road. So hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer them. If there's a topic you'd like to see covered in a future video, please let me know. I'd be happy to do it. Thanks again, and have a great day.